It's time for more One Piece, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even going to give you a preamble. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples, Qushu 92 here. Welcome back to more One Piece. We are off from break, and we are in the present day. Time for Luffy and company to go belt to behind to those who are assaulting Elbaf right now. Kohagen, good to see you. Anyone else who happens to pop in ahead of time, whether you're watching live or you're watching on the VOD, welcome! I am so happy to see you guys. We are finally off from break, and it's also the 1st of February. And I'm looking at the listing on Viz, and it says that we are not going on break after this chapter. We're done with Harold's flashback. Loki has been acknowledged by Ragnir with a devil fruit that has not been used in centuries, possibly older than the Nika fruit itself, like the longest gap between users, if you think about it. And now we're here as Loki is showcasing his strength after being fully unchained, and Luffy wants to see him fight. A giant Draugr sleep tit has appeared, and Loki has just flash frozen it with another ability from Ragnir called Nibelheim, much to Luffy's shock. Let's see what's in 1172, the Elbaf I dreamed of. Oh, snap! We haven't seen this dude in a minute! And also, I need to shake this thing of extra lint that's on this hoodie, because I don't wear this hoodie all that often. Chapter 1172, the Elbaf I dreamed of. Reader request, swans helping themselves to Bon Clay's makeup by Pizza Maru. We haven't seen Bon Clay, Mr. Do. We haven't seen Bon Clay in so long, not even on a user request. It has been forever. Ozzy, is that you? Good to see you, Ozzy! Let me look at my chat. It won't let me do it. It won't let me do it. This gets on my nerves when they won't let me look at the people who are speaking. But yeah, Bonjan! We haven't seen him in forever. And now we're cutting away from Luffy and company, from Luffy and Loki, and we go back to Harudin, Gabin, and everyone else as they are making their way up to the Sun World. And it's quiet. And then then we get Gabin going, our foe's number 3, and their mission is to kidnap 10 giant children. They mean to take the children to the Holy Land and use them as hostages, to coerce the warriors of Elbaf into being their battle slaves. And then Harudin speaks, can a mere trio of humans run rampant over both the giant pirates and Mr. Ya? And Gerd is quiet, because Gerd is the one who's holding Gabin, who's being tended to by Chopper. I'm sorry. I failed you. Plain and simple. Then Sanji. You say children, but these are giants, right? How are 3 humans our size gonna carry those giant children? Then Gabin. The woman of the trio has a strange power using arrows. It seems that wherever these arrows point, the children are helpless to resist them. They're walking ceaselessly towards the port in the western village. If they get to the boat, they can lose us at sea and then it's all over. That's the true end point of the situation. Then we get Roto going, but if that's all, then why can we not simply take back the children? Then Gabin again. One of the 3 is a man named Sommers. I know him, unfortunately. A man with the powers of the thorn fruit. As a thorn man, he makes free use of vicious, spiky vines. He can make them invisible, too, and has wrapped them around the children. Then Gerd. And that means we can't pick them up? How sadistic. Aye, and they're as hard as steel. If we interfere with the line of children, they'll bump into each other and harm one another like hedgehogs. On top of that, the final member of the trio is most likely manifesting nightmares as real creatures. The children's greatest fears have come to life to prevent any attempt to save them. The irony is,
The children are simply walking in a line in broad daylight, but we're unable to do a thing to help them. All due to the game created by three powers working together.
And then Harudin.
Not so. We will save them. Seems quicker to aim for the three causing all the problems.
You say they're immortal, but there has to be a way to stop them. Like trapping them in something, or crushing them, or eating them.
Yes, I agree with that. We're nearly up to the sun world.
And while they're all speaking, they get closer and closer, and they get to the top. They get to the top. And then they stop, and then Harudin can only look up as he sees the sleep dids that have basically run rampant across all of Elbaf. And mind you, Elbaf is also on fire.
It's beyond anything I imagined. Is there no limit to these nightmare monsters?
Look over there!
Is that the Great Eric?
Dorian Broggy's crew was on board, but the monsters downed the ship as they fought back. Unthinkable.
And then we get Oimo! No, it's Kashi! It's Kashi! Kashi's still alive, but he's bleeding.
Is that Harudin? Kashi, you're alive. We've been down in the underworld. Tell us what's happening. It's hard to believe, but I'll try to explain.
Kashi is hurt. Kashi is hurt bad.
Captain Story and Broggy. Captain Story and Broggy are going to kill Chief Jarl? You have to stop them. Everyone's gone completely mad.
What about the children, Kashi?
Ripley's got a group's chasing after him, but we haven't had any word about success or not. They should have reached the port by now. Oh, and you, Rodo.
What about me?
Bjorn's there. I have to go. My brother is one of the hostages.
Wow. So what? So Bjorn is the brother of Rodo. Rodo doesn't hesitate, and he immediately starts going.
I have to go. My brother is one of the hostages. Rodo!
I'll go with him.
Yes, me too.
And that's both Gerd and Goldberg. And then Sanji.
Hey, Kachi, which way is the school? Apparently Nami's group is near it. You see that fire? That's the school. That's the school and library burning. Why are they on fire?
And then Zoro.
You say that Dory and Broggy have gone mad? That's right. Please, you must hurry. Chief Yar's life is in danger.
And then it shows everything that's going on. We get a big map of Branch Route 8 and also a good section of Elbaf so we can pinpoint where everybody's at. So, the school and the library are currently on fire, where all the giants are left watching as it goes up in flames. Then, by the Walrus School and Owl Library, that's currently on fire. Then, by the library, the Straw Hat Crew. And we have Robin bound up by Sommer's thorns, and the rest of the Straw Hat Crew bound up by Gunko's arrows.
The library's burning. They're taking the children! Get these arrows off of me!
Chopper's still not back, and Brooks got some kind of idea in his head and ran off.
I'm sorry, Brooke is gone? Brooke is gone? Beg your pardon, Jinbei? Brooke is gone? Brooke is gone! Where did Brooke go? Also, DJ, good to see you. And CDs, finally, I'm glad you made it on time.
Chopper's still not back, and Brooks got some kind of idea in his head and ran off.
Darn it! I never wanted to see Master Tori and Master Broggy like that!
Kill Yarar!
Please, captains, please stop! Come back to your senses!
Under the power of Domi Reversi, the giant pirates head for the Western Village.
And then we have Jarl, who's in the Western Village. And the rescue team of Ripley is heading to intercept the children. Rescue team.
We're coming for you, kids!
Get those monsters out of the way!
Then the hostage children, who are awake but can't stop moving forward because of Gunko's power. The hostage children.
We're gonna be at the port soon, and then... Don't whine! You're warriors of Elbaf!
But
we're not warriors,
And this is Colin saying this to all of his fellow kids. How do you do, fellow kids? And the Western Village.
It's time to flee, Chief Yarl. There's no reasoning with Captain Dory and Captain Broggy right now.
No, you should flee if you wish. I will stay. I have something to say to Elbaf.
He has something to say to Elbaf. Huh. And then we have a Den Mushi that's active. And then Jarl speaks.
Hear me, Elbaf. I wish to tell you everything before I die.
Huh, is that Chief Yarl?
Our old liege, wise King Harold, wished to bring Elbaf into the world government, so that we might coexist with the rest of the world.
And Gunko, well, Emu, in possession of Gunko's body, doesn't say anything.
But on that fateful day 14 years ago, he was betrayed and denied his wish.
Chief Yarl?
I witnessed a demon slaughter Harold and the rest of his soldiers. Harold resisted, bending the knee and handed over Elbaf to the demon. He fought, and he died.
What? I thought Loki killed the king.
But if the people learned the truth, they would rise up in vengeance and become the warfaring nation that Harold did not desire. So I held my silence. Loki, meanwhile, bore the rage of the nation upon his back and took to the sea. He may be a tactless man, but Loki is innocent.
What?
And then we cut back to Zoro and Harudin, and they're hearing all of this.
A bit inaccurate, but a nice turn of phrase. Nicer than he deserves. But today, it seems that though they had given up initially, they once again require our massive power. And thus, 3 demons have come back in an attempt to take over our country.
And mind you, it shows Killingham, Gunko, being possessed by Emu, and Somers.
Yawn, I could take a nap and still complete the mission at this point.
And this is Somers.
Listen up, you devils! If you spare the children's lives, we will freely give up our culture and history. But if you think you've broken our spirit, you are sorely mistaken. Do not expect Harold's patience from us.
Oh, you better talk to him, Yarl! You better talk to him!
You think you can rule over us and enslave us? Who do you think you're talking to?
Ooh! Ooh! Jarl! He's spitting! Jarl is spitting!
I'm sorry, children. I must ask you to cover your ears now.
And then Usopp is screaming, "That's right, Jarl! You tell him! The Elbaf I dreamed of doesn't bow to anyone!"
If the world is destined to be split in two, as the Harley prophecy suggests, then Elbaf shall be an enemy to the world government. Did you think that thorns, reversi, and illusions would cause us to submit to your yoke?
Oh, I love this chapter! I love this chapter! And then Zoro is smiling, going,
I like that old man. 3 centuries ago, he was the strongest man on this sea. We will never give in to your rule. Am I wrong, all you proud warriors of Elbaf?
You're darn right, Chief Yarl! Ah! The Elbaf I love is back!
And Usopp has just got heart in his eyes and he's just losing it. And then Nami is screaming,
Fine, just think of a way to undo these arrows!
and then Jarl, as Dory and Broggy are in front of him, he goes,
Protect the peace that Harold envisioned!
and then it shows all the giants rallying behind him as Dory and Broggy show up right in front of him. And then Harudin is behind them along with Stanzin as he goes,
We've caught up! Watch out that they don't trap you between them.
And then Zoro smiles and starts to unsheath his sword. And he goes,
I've got a plan.
oh, Zoro's about to fight. Zoro's about to fight ancient giants! To be continued! Woo! Okay. Woo! I like this chapter. This was Jarl's chapter. Jarl may have been like, oh, he's an old dude and he doesn't want to. And mind you, he's rallying all these other giants with him and he's already got a sword in hand. This man said, I ain't leaving until you hear what I have to say. Woo! And that's how we end the chapter. And we're not going on break. Zoro's maybe about to pity Dory and Bragi against each other. Zoro might let them fight each other. But here's the thing though, DJ. The concern here is that they both have the mindset of following Imu's will because they've been Domi reversied. That is one thing that we've seen. They are all just under the thrall of Imu. So it's not a matter of they are super powerful and then they can go against each other, because that would assume that people who are Domi reversied are capable of resisting Imu enough for them to be distracted by such things, which is not the case. The only people we've seen resist Imu even a little bit before being fully taken over was Harold and Rox. Anyone else, they just get turned. Because if they truly wanted to resist Imu, they probably would have been doing it already. So I don't think that tactic is going to work exactly. So, didn't Harold also can control it? The only reason why that worked for Harold is simply because the arm that had the Covenant attached to it was basically dismembered from his body. It was only when the mark came back that his mind started to become taken over again. It's not the same concept here because they've been forcibly turned. They didn't accept a covenant with Imu, they were just forcibly turned. So I don't think trying to pit them against each other is going to be the plan that works. Plus, Zoro ain't the type to try and make people fight each other when he likes to throw hands himself. So that plan still wouldn't work. That plan wouldn't work because Zoro literally loves laying hands on folks. When it's time to fight, he ain't gonna try and pit people against each other to avoid a confrontation so he ain't got to worry about it. No, he gonna be the one saying like, I need you to throw me as hard as you can into the middle of that group and I'll handle the rest. That is literally Zoro. That's literally Zoro. But going back through this, everyone is making their way up. Gavin is telling them all what's going on about Killingham, about Gunko, the state of the children, the school and library currently burning up, Robin not being able to do anything because you could hear it in her voice. Well, see it in her written words on the panels. That's going on, and then we get Jarl, who's basically given like this big giant rousing speech, because a lot of this is us cutting to different people. They get up to the sun world, they see all the destruction that has befallen all of Elbaf right now with the sleep tids all over and the fires and all the destruction that's been caused thus far. They witness this, and then we cut over to Chief Jarl, who gives by far one of the best speeches that we've ever seen of Elbaf. Sure, we've seen Harold give a lot of speeches, but Jarl saying, like, you think just because you did what you did to Harold that we're just gonna take that line down? Like, right here. But today it seems that though they had given up initially, they once again require our massive power, and thus 3 demons have come back in an attempt to take over our country. Listen up, you devils. If you spare the children's lives, we will freely give up our culture and history. But if you think you've broken our spirit, you are sorely mistaken. Do not expect Harold's patience from us. I'm like, he said, don't think if you can take everything away from us, but you will not break us. You will not break us at all. You think you can rule over us and enslave us? Who do you think you're talking to? I'm sorry, children, I must ask you to cover your ears now. If the world is destined to be split in two as the Harley's prophecy suggests... Hold up, wait a minute. What you mean the Harley predicts that the world is going to be split in half? Figuratively or literally? Wait. The Harley suggests that the world is destined to be split in two? What do you mean? Hold on. I glossed over that. What do you mean? It's destined to be split in two. I hope you mean figuratively. Because if you mean literally... If the world is destined to be split in two, as the Harley's prophecy suggests, then Elbaf shall be an enemy to the world government. Do you think that thorns, reversi, and illusions would cause us to submit to your yoke? We will never give in to your rule. Am I wrong, all you proud warriors of Elbaf? Protect the peace that Harold envisioned. And he says this as Dorian Broggy literally bear down on him, literally. Let me see what you guys have said thus far. Let's see. Greetings, yo. This finna be a Brook times. He knows something. Obviously, if Brook has gone off and done something on his own, he obviously knows something. Zoro has a plan. Now, if it doesn't involve going in many directions, then I feel like this plan is going to succeed. But if it revolves going left, right, up, and down, and following it in a specific order, then the plan is going to fail. We know. And we don't have a break next week? Yeah, we don't. Let's see, Zoro's known for fighting giants. Y'all remember Pika? Yeah, but Pika wasn't a giant, though. He was literally just a dude that could turn into like a... Him fighting Pika don't mean he has experience fighting giants. He has experience fighting devil fruit users that can make themselves like giants. Oars is like the only other one, but that was all the way back in Thriller Bark, so it's not something that Zoro is known for. Let's see, we still haven't seen Luffy. I wonder what he's up to. I'm sure something epic. See, here's the thing, though. We already know where Luffy is because the last chapter was literally us being in the present. It wasn't like, oh, hours ago. This is Luffy in the present. He's with Loki. And they're just beating up on the sleep tid downstairs in the underworld. That's the last we saw. Luffy chilling with Loki. Because Luffy didn't go with him. Luffy didn't go with Zoro and everyone else. He stuck around just because he wanted to see how Loki fights. And that's what we saw in the last chapter. So that's where Luffy is. Brook is going to have another MVP moment just like in Whole Cake Island arc. He went out to got free. He went out to and got free. Yeah, how did Brook get away? How did he move? How did he get free of Gunko's arrows? That's a question. That's a question I have. Yeah, I think Luffy is the only one capable of freeing Dorian Broggy with his Sun God fruit. Who knows? We don't know the fullest extent of what Luffy's fruit is capable of doing. I don't know if it's going to be the antithesis to Emu in terms of power, but it would be interesting to see how Dorian Broggy are free, because there's no way we're going to lose Dorian Broggy in this instance. They're simply too awesome of giant characters to just permanently lose. Another One Piece world, I think figuratively, the world government versus everyone. So literally splitting the world in half against those who follow the world government and those who don't. I want to say figuratively, as well. Let's see. Zoro's plan will work on the condition that someone should hold his hand and guide him in the right direction. That's right, he's with Loki, which means those two are about to make their presence felt in a big way. Yeah! Oda's plan on showing Luffy and Loki when things got crazy, that's what he always does. Of course! Of course! Now, we all know what time it is. It's time for some summaries! Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let's see. One Piece. All right. Zoro will make them fight each other, rival moment, but the thing that people seem to overlooking is the fact that they're not actively gonna. Now, here's the thing. We've seen Dory and Broggy fight each other in the past, but that was just over a petty squabble. But at the same time, everyone who's thinking that they're just going to fight each other if Zoro pushes them in that direction needs to realize that they're currently under the thrall and influence of Imu, where they're only focused on killing Jarl. They are only focused on killing Jarl right now. So I don't know how this is going to effectively work if they're just like one track mind into following Imu's will right now, and that is every giant just cause destruction and kill Chief Jarl. Those are the orders they've been given. That's currently the thing that's going on with the both of them right now. So I don't know how effective that would be against them. Where is this page? Are you kidding me? One Piece 72. Thank God, long summary. Here we go. Sanji brings Gabin and Chopper to the lift to meet with Zoro and the new giant warrior pirates. And as they go up, Gabin explains there are 3 knights serving as their enemies and whose mission is to kidnap 10 giant children and take them to Marijois to serve as hostages in order to force the giants of Elbaf to submit to the world government as their battle slaves. Harudin asks Gabin how 3 humans were allowed to run rampant over the giant warrior pirates, and he apologizes for his inability to stop them prior. Sanji then asks how the knights plan on moving 10 giant children to the Holy Land, and Gabin explains that Gunko is using her arrows to force the children to move in the direction she wants them to go, and their current destination is the port in the western village, and if they reach the ship, they will be as good as gone. Road asks why they simply cannot take the children back themselves, and Gabin explains that the knight Somers is among them, and he knows about his Iba Iba no Mi, thorn fruit, and that he has wrapped the children in invisible thorns as hard as steel, so not only can the giants not pick them up without hurting themselves, if they try to stop them from moving, the children will bump into each other and get hurt by the thorns. Lastly, the final member, Killingham, can manifest nightmares as living creatures, and right now he has conjured the nightmares of said children to rampage across the land and prevent anyone from rescuing them. In short, because of this twisted game the knights are playing, the children are simply walking in broad daylight and no one can do a thing to stop it. Harudin says they can still save the children regardless of the circumstances, with Gabin saying their best option being subduing the knights, and Goldberg suggesting different ways of stopping them since they are immortal. By that point, though, they reach the Sun World and are left speechless by the MMAs rampaging, and on top of that, they see the Great Eric burning, with Gabin explaining that it was brought down by the MMAs. Kashi sees Harudin and company, and Harudin asks for an explanation regarding the situation. Kashi explains that Dory and Broggy are on their way right now to kill Jarl, and as for the children, a group of giants led by Ripley are en route to rescue them, but they haven't heard word if they succeeded. Kashi then tells Road that Bjorn is one of the hostages, as he is his little brother, and Road immediately runs off to try and save him, with Gerd and Goldberg going after him. Zoro asks Kashi where the school is, as he knows Nami's group should be near it, and he points him to the currently burning school. Kashi begs everyone to hurry since Jarl's life is at stake. A map where everyone currently is shown, as the giants watch the school and library burning down in despair, and the Straw Hats, currently restrained by Gunko's arrows, aside from Robin, try to break free. Though Brook is no longer among the group, as apparently he got an idea and decided to head off on his own. Ripley and her team are still trying to save the children, who are almost at the port, and the demonized Dory and Broggy are still on their way to Jarl despite their comrades' attempts to stop them. At the village, the giants tell Jarl he needs to flee, but he refuses, especially since he has something to say to all of Elbaf. With a Dengo Mushi, Jarl addresses all of Elbaf and informs them of Harold's desire to bring Elbaf into the world government with the hope they could coexist peacefully with the rest of the world. But on that day, 14 years ago, the world government betrayed and denied his wish. He claimed it was a demon who killed Harold and his many soldiers because the former refused to submit, which shocks the populace of Elbaf as they realize Loki wasn't responsible. Jarl explains that he didn't say anything before because he feared the people would rise up in vengeance, which Harold didn't want, and it was Loki who decided to bear the rage of their people onto his back and took out to sea because of it. Therefore, Jarl announces that Loki, despite his nature, is innocent of killing Harold, though Zoro and Harudin are aware Jarl's claim is more than what Loki deserves. Jarl continues explaining that 3 more demons have shown their face on Elbaf in order to make them submit. He addresses the 3 of them personally, declaring that they will gladly give up their culture and history if it means saving the children. But they are mistaken to think they can break the spirit of Elbaf, as the other giants don't have the same patience as Harold did. Jarl tells the children to cover their ears and says that if the world is to be split in 2 as the Harley suggests, then Elbaf will proudly declare war on the world government, and their powerful abilities will do nothing to break them. Jarl calls the giants of Elbaf proud warriors and tells them to protect the peace Harold desired with all that they have, and the giants, with their morale invigorated, charge forward to stop the demonized co-captains once they arrive at the village. After that speech, Harudin, Stanzen, and Zoro reach the demonized giants, with Harudin warning that they can't get stuck between the demons or they will become one themselves. Hearing this, Zoro confidently says he has a plan. And that is pretty much the summary of basically chapter 1172. I got tired of that. So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is now, so Elbaf is the first nation to declare war against the world government? Pretty much, yes. Pretty much. Brooke cookin', let him cook? Of course he is. Of course he is. Zoro's plan, work on the condition of someone holds his hand. Okay, you guys already said that. So, we also got the chapter notes as well. Because, you know, apparently my yapping is, but behave. Oh, no, we ain't, it's gone. It's done. It's done. We're not even gonna worry about it. We're not even gonna worry about it. It's already done. Zoro, Sanji, Gabin, and the new giant warrior pirates return to the Sun World and are heading to the Western Village to stop the demonizer Midori and Bragi from killing Jarl. Meanwhile, a group of giants led by Ripley and Oimo head towards the Western Village port in an attempt to rescue the children. After learning that his younger brother is one of the hostages, Rhodes split from the group to rescue him along with Gerd and Goldberg. As Bragi and Dory head towards him, Jarl made an announcement to the rest of Elbaf, partially revealing the truth about the death of Harold 14 years ago. Wanted to warn him, but oh well. Oh no, you had every opportunity to act, calm and civilized, but just yapping, the one that they said I was doing. When you yap and you're not actually adding to the conversation, and you're just being belligerent, I ain't got time for you. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't care how you feel about it. You can leave a dislike all you want, but you ain't gonna be doing it here. I ain't playing this year. As Dory and Bragi head towards him, Jarl made an announcement to the rest of Elbaf, partially revealing the truth about the death of Harold 14 years ago. In his address, Jarl said that Harold and the guards were killed by the demon for refusing to submit Elbaf to them, therefore making Loki innocent, and that Jarl chose to withhold the truth to prevent the people of Elbaf from seeking vengeance and return to the Warrior Pass. At the end of the speech, Jarl declared that Elbaf is now at war with the world government and rallied giants to fight. As Bragi and Dory reach Jarl at the same time as the new giant warrior pirates, Zoro prepares to launch a counterattack. So here we are. Chapter seems short, but kind of a setup chapter, I guess. Next chapter is going to be interesting. Yes! It's a setup chapter. and a chapter I'm happy about. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at one. I want to say, good move. We don't need a nonsense. Go somewhere else with that. Exactly. I ain't got time for it. I don't. And I don't care if they never come back. Mind you, they've been hidden across the entire channel. I don't care if they never come back. There's literally billions of other people who can fill in that spot. I am here to entertain and to encourage. That's all I'm here for. If you can't get with that, that's a you problem. Ain't got nothing to do with me. But here we are. Zoro's already ready to fight, and mind you, we really haven't seen Zoro go all out fighting ever since King. Now, mind you, he was there helping. He was there helping, trying to fight Gavin, but even then, Gavin was showing that he's still strong. Even so, but Zoro really hasn't had an opportunity to really show off just how strong he is ever since he fought with King in Wano. It's been a while. Mind you, him fighting Lucci is not an example of him going all out, because not once did Zoro put the bandana on. When Zoro doesn't put the bandana on, you are not worth the full strength. That's the last time we saw Zoro put the bandana on was when he squared up with King. So now, I can't wait to see what Zoro's about to do. Maybe we'll see a brand new move. Maybe. But we do know one thing, though. Conqueror's Haki is definitely going to have an enormous part to play with all the fighting that's about to happen. Because we've recently learned that Conqueror's Haki is necessary in order to bypass the immortality of all of the knights and anyone who's been empowered by Imu. And we've seen that even the immortal can die when enough force is applied, as is the case with Harold. It still blows my mind that the concept of immortality is a thing that exists within One Piece. And yet, at the same time, there's a counter around it. Not even Lucci was bandana worth. No, he wasn't! That's why I said it! He didn't even have the bandana on when he was fighting Lucci. When you think about it, Zoro didn't have his bandana on when he took out Pika. Exactly. It means that Pika was far below Zoro. Can Zoro cut the big tree and maybe he will be the one to distract Dorian Broggy as Luffy and Zoro can deal with Gunko and Imu? My thing is, I don't think Zoro can actually cut the tree. Mainly because there's no reason for him to. And also, the tree is just way too big. It literally houses an entire nation. To say that Zoro is capable of cutting through the entire tree of Elbaf is to say that he is strong enough to slice a continent in half. That is literally what this means. It's an entire island. It would mean that Zoro is capable of slicing an island in half. We don't need him cutting down no trees. He can cut off a whole limb, possibly, but not the whole tree itself. So what we have here is we don't even get a continuation of Loki. We don't even go back to like Luffy and Loki when they're just freezing that one giant with Nibelheim. We don't even go back to that. We're just focusing on everyone else, which I'm actually okay with, because if you focus too long on one person, then you're going to be wondering, when are we going to get back to everyone else? So I'm glad we actually cut away from Luffy and Loki, and we focus on getting back to the Sun World to see what the current state of things is. Because Imu is just leading the children up there with Killingham and Somers. And my thing is, the last time Imu possessed a person, we lost Rocks. Rocks was bodied by both Roger and Garp. And in this instance, we also lost God Valley because it was just so crazy of a fight that was going on. And the Oda Classic map is finally back. Yeah, showing like a big old portion of where we are in Elbaf and showing us where our location is. It's nice to see a full half double page panel of a full map just back up again. So it's good to see that, but I'm glad that we are focusing on everyone else. Sanji, Zoro, where is Brook? I wonder how many chapters we're going to get this month. If we don't go on break, we could get possibly, if we get one break this month, then that means we'll get 3 chapters. If we get even Yeah, even if we get one break, the possibility of us getting 3 chapters is there. But I don't want to speak too soon because you never know. Depends on how Oda's feeling. But Brook is gone. Don't know where Brook is. Apparently, he got an idea, and he clearly has some recollection of Gunko, considering he might recognize her after all those years. Because we still gotta address that whole matter of him being there with Gunko when Gunko was a child, so there's a lot of questions with that. Brook is just straight up gone. And hopefully Oda will give Usopp a time to shine. Yes, we need... I said this before, many chapters ago. This has to be the moment where Usopp gets some sort of improvement with his combat capabilities. We are literally on the land of the giants. Elbaf. Literally the place that Usopp wanted to go to help him become a better warrior. If Usopp walks away from this nation and having learned nothing new to either boost his confidence or make him way more capable as a sharpshooter, I would consider this arc a disappointment for Usopp's character as a whole. That's me. Because this is the one place that Usopp always wanted to go to. Now that he's here, there should be no reason why Usopp does not have some sort of improvement. Either he gains the ability to use observation haki again and starts to realize what it is and starts training with it, or something else entirely. But something major has to happen for Usopp as a character, with him being in the location that he's always wanted to go to the moment he joined this crew. There should be no reason why Usopp doesn't get anything from this entire arc. What happens if Zoro got Domi Reversi'd one of the Straw Hats? That would be terrifying, because Zoro's already ridiculously strong. Getting Domi Reversi'd would turn him into a demon that has strength that already would make him an even bigger threat. That would be very bad, because Zoro has the mentality of never losing to another person again. Couple that with an immortal body and also the capabilities of a Domi Reversi'd individual, that would be akin to like fighting rocks again, but they have the resolution of not losing whatsoever. That resolve, that strength, knowing when to hold back and when not to. Zoro Domi Reversi'd is like King of Hell? No, he's already that. It would suck if Usopp doesn't get some kind of power up, but Nami does. Look. I feel like Usopp hasn't had a real moment to really shine as a character. And I'm not counting the moment where he stood up and protected both Kinemon and Kiku during Wano as a major character moment, because he's still a coward. He's still behaving the same exact way. I mean, we still don't have a moment that is equal to Usopp awakening his observation haki when he was about to save Law and Luffy from Sugar. We still don't have a moment like that. We need the rest of the Straw Hats getting a shine, not just the Monster Trio. Yeah, I trust Oda to do a good job for Usopp. I trust him as well. That's the reason why, while I put these assumptions out there, and maybe possibly these theories out there, I just trust Oda to do right by these characters he created all these times. So I'm not going to be all like, well, if it doesn't happen here, then Oda doesn't know how to write. There's far too many people on the internet who still seem to think that that's an applicable way to describe how One Piece is written as a story. But I'm just going to let the author show us how it's done. I'm just going to let the author show us. Please, Oda, we're in a final saga now. Why not go all out? Because I feel like maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason it hasn't happened yet. And I'm not going to assume to know what Oda thinks, because Oda is very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. There's only been a seldom few times when people manage to figure out what direction he may be going in with One Piece, but it's not a common occurrence. That's how you know Oda's one step ahead of a lot of people a lot of the time. Not all the time, because some people figured out Ryokugyu's powers just based on subtle hints here and there. But I say, let's just let Oda cook. Let's let him cook. He already cooked with this chapter with that rousing speech from Jarl, which I think is one of the best speeches I've ever seen in Elbaf thus far. right up there with Harold preaching the message of wanting to build a nation of peace and join with the rest of the world before he started talking to the world government. I feel like Jarl's speech is by far the best thing that any of the Giants could have heard. You know how Sengoku was given the rousing speech saying, like, you can tear down Marineford, but you can't break us. That, you know what this symbol means? It means that we will stand against tyranny and evil. When he was talking to Blackbeard, when Blackbeard was just wreaking havoc on Marineford. This is that for Elbaf. Because the same way the Marines got reinvigorated when Sengoku gave his speech, the Giants are getting invigorated based off of Jarl's speech. This is that same instance. This is that same portion. And again, I have faith in Oda. The last thing we need is a fairy tale ending. You're definitely right about that. You're definitely right. We definitely need to avoid a fairy tale ending of some kind. We do. But, ladies and gentlemen, I said everything that I wanted to say. Hey, I managed to keep this under an hour. But, here's what I'm hoping for. What I'm hoping for is that, and when Luffy gave a speech in the Wano arc during Act 2, yeah, I remember now. But what I'm hoping for is that the school and the library can be saved. Because not only is that Elbaf's history in those books inside that library, but also of Ohada's history as well. And Robin hasn't read everything in there yet. So, I really would like for the school to be saved. I would very much like for the library to be saved. And for the books to be saved so Robin can brush up on all the knowledge of Ohada that she may have missed out on. And also the children getting saved as well. But I really want to see the outcome of what happens when Emu, Somers, and Killingham lose. Because it's going to happen. Members of the Straw Hat have made it to the Sun World, and they're not bound up or caught. Which means there's about to be some laying of the hands. There's going to be some dust knocked from somebody. And I just know for myself that that Emu's going to be walking away with empty hands. And this is probably going to get them riled up even more, considering that not only did they lose the chance of taking control of Elbaf when Harold was alive, but they're also going to lose the chance of taking control of Elbaf when they try it again with even more knights. With even more knights coming in, trying to smooth things along. And even Emu taking direct control of Gunko, I imagine it's still not going to work well with them. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm of the mind of I'm looking forward to how this proceeds and how it starts to end. Because I'm still fearful of what happens when we're done with the Elbaf arc. Because that's uncharted territory. We have absolutely no heading. We have absolutely no heading of where the Straw Hats need to go after this. We only came to Elbaf because Vegapunk knew that it would be a safe place to go. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Another 10 out of 10 setup chapter. So until next week, close peace, peoples. And I can't wait to see Emu possessing Gunko face when they see Joy Boy and Luffy. Yeah, when Luffy gets up there and we see that form of Nika, that's when I feel like things are going to majorly pop off. Because Emu has had a vendetta against that fruit and its user for centuries. If the assumption that Emu has been alive since the formation of the kingdoms itself is to be believed, which many of us do believe, that confrontation between a literal god and a literal devil is going to be, I want to say, the most hype moment for Elbaf when they finally see each other face to face. That is going to be interesting. But we'll have to find out next week because we are not going on break. But that's all I got for you, ladies and gentlemen. I found myself profoundly satisfied with this chapter today. And for this to be the first chapter of February, starting this month on a good note. Looking forward to the next one. And I want to say that the pacing is going well as well, because that's one thing I've been paying attention to. Because ever since Wano and that whole Raizo versus Fukuro Kuju fight, I've been paying attention to pacing for One Piece. And I would like to say that the pacing seems better than it did in Wano Country. And I am very grateful that we are having better paced chapters than before. So I'm looking forward to the next one. So I hope to see you guys next week. This week, hopefully, if my copy comes in, because as you guys know, there was a massive blizzard that just tore through the entire state, and there's tons of snow everywhere. If things manage to get cleared up properly, I intend to play Code Vein 2 and start playing that for you guys this week. Not directly on Wednesday when I go to pick it up, and not on Thursday, because that's not only Hunter x Hunter, but also the next major chapter for Wuthering Waves. So Friday seems like it's going to be the best bet for me to actually start this game for you guys. So, until then, I hope to see you guys at the next thing that I do. Still got Sakamoto days to take care of, so I'll take care of that, and then I have the rest of the day to myself. I got a ton of snow to shovel outside. So, that's probably what I'm going to be doing for a good couple of hours. So, yeah, I'll be busy. But other than that, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even consider checking out my Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later peoples, on to Sakamoto days!